Have you ever wondered how honey is made? Honey is one of nature's sweetest creations, produced through an incredible partnership between flowers and honeybees. Every jar of honey begins with millions of tiny flowers blooming across fields, forests, and gardens. The process starts when worker honeybees leave the hive in search of nectar. Using their excellent sense of smell and vision, they can locate flowers rich in sweet nectar from several kilometers away. When a bee lands on a flower, it uses its long tongue, called a proboscis, to suck up the sugary nectar. Instead of going directly into the bee's stomach, the nectar is stored in a special organ known as the honey stomach. As the bee flies back to the hive, natural enzymes inside the honey stomach begin breaking down the complex sugars in the nectar into simpler sugars. Once back at the hive, the foraging bee passes the nectar to another worker bee. The nectar is transferred from bee to bee several times. During each transfer, more enzymes are added, gradually transforming the nectar into the liquid that will eventually become honey. The processed nectar is then deposited into the tiny wax cells of the honeycomb. At this stage, the nectar still contains a large amount of water. To remove the excess moisture, thousands of worker bees begin fanning their wings rapidly. The constant airflow causes water to evaporate from the nectar. Over time, the water content drops to around 18%. As the moisture decreases, the nectar thickens into the rich golden honey we know today. Once the honey reaches the perfect consistency, the bees seal each honeycomb cell with a thin layer of fresh beeswax. This protective wax cap keeps the honey fresh for long periods and prevents moisture from entering. When the honey is fully mature, beekeepers carefully inspect the hive. Only honeycomb frames that are mostly capped with wax are harvested. The frames are removed from the hive and transported to a clean honey extraction facility. The first step is uncapping. Special heated knives or automated machines gently remove the thin wax covering from each honeycomb cell. Next, the uncapped frames are placed inside a large honey extractor. The extractor spins the frames at high speed using centrifugal force. As the frames rotate, golden honey is flung from the honeycomb and collects along the walls of the extractor before flowing down to the bottom. The freshly extracted honey passes through fine filters to remove small pieces of wax and other natural particles while preserving its purity. The filtered honey is transferred into large stainless steel storage tanks where it is allowed to settle naturally. Air bubbles rise to the surface, creating a smoother final product. Some honey is gently warmed to improve its flow before packaging, but excessive heating is avoided to preserve its natural flavor and nutrients. Finally, automated filling machines pour the honey into jars, squeeze bottles, and other containers. Each container is sealed, labeled, and prepared for shipment. The finished honey is then delivered to supermarkets, restaurants, bakeries, and homes around the world. Remarkably, bees must visit around 2 million flowers to produce just 1 pound of honey. From tiny drops of flower nectar to the golden honey on your breakfast table, this extraordinary journey is one of nature's greatest engineering marvels. And that's how honey is made.